Tonight we gather again to honor the memory of 7 of our comrades in arms. Staff Sergeant Christopher Moore, Sergeant Paul Medlin, Specialist David Burley, Specialist Travis Haslip, Specialist Joseph Gilmore, Private First Class Alexander Varela, and Aziz Abdal Sahib Aziz. 6 soldiers, 1 local national interpreter, 7 men, and 7 heroes. 19 May 2007 stands as a day that most of us here will never forget. It began quietly enough. For a while it looked like it was going to be the quietest day we had in weeks, a welcome respite from the challenges we have faced in bringing a level of stability to West Baghdad. The mission that day was to seize a corner of Almeria, a troubled area, and establish an outpost to better protect the population and defeat our enemies. And during the course of this mission, the enemy struck with an IED, destroying a vehicle and taking the lives of 7 brave men. Men who represent everything that is right about our Army and the nations they serve. The soldiers represented a cross-section of our nation, hailing from California, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, and Iowa. They had various talents, interests, and experiences, which helped to form a cohesive team. Staff Sergeant Moore was a veteran with 10 years of service and previous combat experience in Iraq. Sergeant Medlin was a former Marine and a veteran of Kosovo. Specialist Burley played football at his high school in Tipton, Iowa. Specialist Haslip, serving as an infantryman, was also a trained welder. Specialist Gilmore was a skilled medic. And PSC Varela loved to play paintball. These men, volunteers all, served day after day in one of the most challenging environments in Baghdad. They served with honor and valor, and joining them was Aziz Abdal Sahib Aziz, or Caesar II as he was more commonly known. He was also a man of honor, serving his country to bring to it a brighter future. 7 different men with separate hopes, desires, and dreams, but also 7 men who were part of a team that shared a common mission and purpose: seek out and destroy evil in order to protect the innocent.
Valor. To be strong, to be of worth, boldness or determination in the face of danger. What is its true meaning? 5 men we honor here today: Christopher Moore, Paul Medlin, David Burley, Travis Haslip, Alex Varela, Joe Gilmore, and Caesar II. They know the true meaning. Nedesset virtus. It means let valor not fail. The valor of these men never failed them. For 7 hard months, they secured a people and patrolled the deadly, often volatile streets of Almeria, sometimes 15 hours a day, implementing the policy of our great nation and securing a people with lesser freedoms than them, never failing once in the commitment or the bravery it takes to face life or death every day. But if you ask their friends, they will tell you that they did it not for those reasons, but rather for each other, for the men to the left and to their right, or that they did it for a love of country. And as we venerate their memory today, there are reasons known only to them that are now forever silent. Whatever the reason, they never asked for anything in return other than commitment from their friends and support from their leadership. I see each of their faces clearly. I remember conversations past, arguments and good ones alike. And I see men who lived and fought for one another with valor and honor every day. Moore, Medlin, Burley, Haslip, Varela, Gilmore, Caesar II. Names that will be forever etched in my heart and soul. But more importantly, they are men that I honor and respect for the commitment and valor they showed and exhibited every day. Rest in peace, gentlemen. I honor your memory and live with you in my heart forever. And may God bless your families and loved ones.
Tonight, we come together again to commemorate the loss of 6 more fallen comrades, American heroes who died fighting for the freedom of others, and an Iraqi patriot, Caesar II, who was trying to make a difference for his country. It is both a tragedy and a privilege today to speak about Specialist Joseph Gilmore, a husband, father, son, friend, and a combat medic. Specialist Gilmore was a soldier who embodied the personal and professional attributes necessary for a medic. He was fearless, energetic, compassionate, dedicated, generous, proficient in his skills, and had an unwilling determination to help others regardless of risk to his own life. Joe epitomized the soldier medic creed: where you go, I will follow. I am the medic, I save. Joe came to the medical platoon just before NTC last year, and we quickly learned that he could and would do anything we asked of him. His easygoing attitude and his friendly, toothy Gilmore grin gained him easy acceptance with any group. And because of this, Joe became the utility player for the platoon, filling in at a moment's notice wherever he was needed. He carried out missions with HHC, Alpha, Bravo, Echo FSC, as well as the Scouts and Mortars, including 2 months with a mid-team when we arrived in Iraq. In every instance, the response was always the same: great guy, great medic. Almost to a fault, Joe was willing to lend a helping hand, from gladly taking missions to give some relief to his fellow medics, to opening his family's home so others had a place to stay prior to deployment. He was always there to make life a little easier for someone. When asked before deployment what his hobbies were, Joe simply replied, spending time with my family. His love for his family was obvious when he spoke about his children, Victoria and Joey, and his wife Eve. Joe spoke with great passion when talking about his family, and undoubtedly was a loving husband and father. To Eve, Victoria, and Joey, and family and friends of all these courageous men, Staff Sergeant Moore, Sergeant Medlin, Specialist Burley, Specialist Haslett, PFC Varela, and Caesar II, no words can ease your sorrow, but we offer our thoughts and our prayers for peace and strength. It was an honor to serve with all of you, and you will not be forgotten. Joe, your spirit, your love of life, and dedication to helping others will carry us through not only the rest of this deployment, but will be a reminder and a source of inspiration each time we think back on our time with you, and will remind us to pursue life with your enthusiasm, care, and compassion.
My name is Specialist John Bruce. I used to be a member of 1st Platoon, and David Burley was one of my best friends. The following is a passage of Scripture that we have chosen to remember our friends by. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. He is my steadfast love and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield and he in whom I take trust, who subdues people under me. O Lord, what is man that you regard him, or the son of man that you think of him? Man is like a breath. His days are like a passing shadow. Bow your heavens, O Lord, and come down. Touch the mountains so that they smoke. Flash forth the lightning and scatter them. Send out your arrows and rout them. Stretch out your hand from on high. Rescue me and deliver me from the many waters, from the hand of foreigners whose mouths speak lies and whose right hand is a right hand of falsehood.
My name is Sergeant Oxenrider. Sergeant Moore was a simple man. He loved his children. He likes the same things that everyone else liked, like drinking beer, playing and watching sports, and chasing women. He was always late coming to work. When I'd call to wake him up, he would not answer. Instead, he would wait a couple of minutes, then call back to the CP to say he was stuck at Clear Creek Gate. That was one of the things that made him Sergeant Moore. He was always late, but he always made up for it. When he could, he took care of us. Sometimes he needed us to take care of him. But that's what a family does, take care of each other. Sergeant Moore, you were the platoon sergeant, the platoon rock. You were the man that everyone looked up to. You kept us hard and always ready. Sergeant Moore, you don't have to worry about our safety anymore. Take a break and relax. Like I said before, family takes care of each other. Everyone has stepped up and we are looking out for one another. Thank you for your sacrifice and for just being simple and easy to get along with. Take it easy, man.
Sergeant Jean Paul Medlin. What can I say, brother? Sergeant Medlin and I served as team leaders together, squad leaders together, and most importantly, he was one of my best friends. Our friendship started on the first day that I came to 1st Platoon, and it ended with me losing one of the best guys that I've ever met. Paul always had a way of making everyone laugh. Whether he was quoting Bazooka Joe or trying to talk like the Kool-Aid man, it always brought a smile to our faces. Paul always took pride in being a service member. He served his country for 6 years, 1 year in the Army, and 5 years as a scout sniper in the United States Marine Corps. The Marines have a saying, Semper Fidelis. It means always faithful. I never have, and probably never will, meet anyone as faithful and as giving as Sergeant Jean Paul Medlin. Paul's the type of guy that if he had $1, he'd give you 50 cents and never ask you any questions about it. Nick, myself, Quinn, Ram, and everyone in the 1st Platoon will never forget you, and we'll always have a special place for you in our hearts. I love you, brother, and I'll miss you.
My name's Specialist Terror Sergeant. I was Dave Burley's one of his best friends. David, hey brother, I've never had thought that I would be speaking about you like this, and I wish so much it wasn't so. It just seems like the other day you were in my room asking me to let you play video games on my laptop, or saying how we should go to the gym because our bellies are getting bigger. You were such a great friend that words cannot explain how much you will be missed. The guys and I are already planning on going to Iowa to visit your family, and of course you. When there were times I seemed down, you were always there with your big, silly smile to brighten our hearts. There were so many great memories. There are so many great memories of you, like the time you ate the Grammy meal from Taco Bell by yourself. But that was always you, though, eating the biggest steak, hamburger, or whatever you name it on the menu, and finishing it like your bottomless pit. Or the time at NTC when our platoon got tasked out to pull fob security in the Bradley for 4 days, and we just sat in the turret talking and listening to ridiculous music that made us laugh. David, I think the biggest thing I'm going to miss while over here is talking about what we were going to do when we get home. I always seem to lift my day up. Don't worry, my friend. The guys and I are still going to do those things with you there in spirit and in our hearts. We'll never forget you, David. We will always love you and keep you deep in our hearts. I love you, brother. Goodbye for now, until my day comes.
Husband, daddy, friend, there are many men who lay claim to these roles. It has been my honor and privilege to meet a man who exemplifies these roles. That man was Specialist Joseph Gilmore. Joe touched the lives of everyone he met and was a friend to everyone who knew him. He was my best friend while we were here. I cannot name one person who had a bad thing to say about him. Joe was one of those rare individuals that would accept everyone. Joe was an outstanding soldier, and he really showed that at NTC. He really stepped up and began to show that he was truly one of the best medics in the battalion. When we first arrived in Iraq, I was thankful that I was going to share a room with Gilmore. Gilmore, Flores, Specialist Thomas, and I went to AIT together, so I've known him for almost 2 years. For the first couple of weeks, Gil went to the 216 MIT team. I thought it'd be cool to have a room to myself. I was wrong. The loneliness at times was hard to swallow. I found myself worrying about Joe. I occasionally would have chow with him, but it wasn't the same. I remember when Staff Sergeant Rosales, Sergeant Pitchford, and I responded to a mass casualty call at 5 Hawk. I was very uneasy. In the end, the mass casualty call was not as bad as anticipated, but I remember at one point looking up, and there was Gilmore. At that point, I felt a sigh of relief come to me. When Gilmore finally came back from the MIT team, I was relieved. I felt a peace come in my life, and I began to sleep a little easier at night. Joe was my ear whenever I became frustrated. I was his ear as well. It always seemed I had more complaints than he did, though. He was everyone's ear. Gilmore was one of those very rare people that you could truly trust. Some of the best moments were when we shared the latest info about our kids and family. Joe would tell me how every time he would talk to little Joey would ask him, "Daddy, please bring me a cheeseburger with no pickles and a Coke." Just recently, he received a new photo of his little girl, Victoria. Gil asked me in a very serious tone, "Isn't this the most beautiful little girl you've ever seen?" My response was, "Since I don't have a daughter, she sure is. But if I had a daughter, Victoria might come in second." He just looked at me with that very identifiable smile and said, "Okay for now." Joe loved being a medic. He loved going outside the wire. Being in the aid station drove him crazy. The scouts were no doubt his favorite ones to go out with. When he learned that Specialist Alvaro was going to leave, he very bluntly said to Specialist Caudill and myself that The scouts were his. He ended up going to Alpha Company though. Gil was excited when he found out he was going to be a permanent fixture with Alpha Company. He was going to get to do what he loved to do on a regular basis. He just wanted to be with the Joes. If Joe wanted to be remembered for anything, it would be his sense of humor, his unselfishness, his tremendous work ethic, his love for his family, and his unique, one-of-a-kind smile. Let's also remember Joe's wife, Eve, daughter Victoria, and little Joey, who I will be taking to get that cheeseburger with no pickles and a Coke. We must also not forget the 6 other men that were with Specialist Joseph Gilmore, 19 May 2007. May God bless all those who were lost.
My name is PFC Matthew Hunter, squad member and brother of Travis Haslip. Travis Haslip. I wasn't standing here today to say these words, but it's a privilege to say that I stood next to you in battle. Side by side, with every one of us, you stood there as strong as any of us were. You were always quick with a joke when the day seemed to never end, or an extra push when we were falling behind. I remember you giving that goofy grin that would make everyone smile no matter what, and it still makes me smile today. We'll never forget you, our friend, our brother.
Private First Class Alexander Varela, not only a great soldier, but a great friend. Silent at times, but someone's voice who could always be heard. Never complained, always did his job to the best of his ability. A young man at the age of 19, he knew what he was and accepted it. It was an honor and a privilege to serve 7 long, hard, and tedious months with him. He always had a smile on his face, whether it was be joking with his friends, talking about his family, or even his dogs. Alex was someone you could always count on. He would always be there for you when you needed him the most. To his family, especially his mother Brenda, who I have become close to over the last month, I give my deepest sympathy. I wish I could be there for you under these tragic circumstances. She asked me to watch over her son and bring him back to her, which I was unable to do. But I asked myself, what would Alex have said to me? First, he would have gave me a hug and said, I'll continue to watch over my brothers of 1-5 CAV. Carry on without me, but know I will always be there with you. Alex, you will always be in our hearts and minds for the rest of our lives. You were one of a kind. I promise when I come home, I'll visit you and your family. We love you, miss you, and continue to be with us. I've been asked to say a few words for some of the other guys who are not able to speak today. It's impossible to explain how one feels after losing so many friends. I wish I could say something that would spare us all the pain we feel, but I don't know how. Haslip and Varela, you guys were 2 of my best friends. I miss playing Xbox with you guys a lot. Remember when we dug the trench from my room to Haslip so we could link up our Xboxes? Then we changed rooms so we could be in the same room? The room is not the same anymore. It's always quiet now. I miss you guys more and more as the days go by. I wish I could have been there to say goodbye and help carry you home. But rest assured, you'll be the first 2 people I go see when I get home. Your friend, Private Daniel E. Pearson. I'm going to read a poem now written by a soldier from 3rd Platoon. I shall shed, no, not a single tear for my fallen brothers. No, for them I shall shed the blood of every one of their enemies. For those who impose the evil upon the innocent are dealt with by the wrath of the divine. I am the fist of God. I am the blade of karma. Specialist Medeiros.
My name is Brando, Iraqi from National Interpreter. Caesar was my friend for 3 years. Maybe some of you know him, and I think everyone should know something about him. He could make you laugh in no time. He could make you his friend at the first second, and make fun of you at the first time. I know he was a great person. He was honest. You could trust him. He loved all the people. He didn't wait until you asked him for his help. You won't miss him if you join in our tent. Believe me, I miss my best friend. When he joined us in the Liberty, there was a new spirit in our life, free on Caesar. On Caesar could mark us with his joke, lovely one. I remember Caesar, Rabin, Astro, Sal, and John. They were a gang that tried to make fun of Sammy. At the first moment, they tied him to his bed and they took him out of our tent. They made this joke on Kevin too. Everything in their time was a joke. I would like to send my great sympathy to all the families of our friends. I wish I could meet them and tell them myself. I wish I could tell the American people that most of the Iraqi people don't agree with the insurgent, and they are peaceful people. I wish you could tell them I am sorry for their lost sons, friends, and husband. They will be stars in the Iraqi freedom sky, and they are a free man in their life and a free man in their end.
A reading from the book of Genesis. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them.
A few weeks ago, a soldier within our battalion told me that the people here needed to learn something. They needed to learn that freedom is not free. They needed to learn that to have freedom, people would die. And then he said, "Isn't that right, Chaplain?" He told me he certainly was right. In fact, he had just repeated the gospel, that according to Christian faith, Jesus died so that others could be free from the penalty of sin. A sacrifice given, even though not appreciated by the majority of those whom the sacrifice was for. Today, we are here to commemorate the lives of men who made a sacrifice that many do not appreciate, even if they are the beneficiaries of the sacrifice. General Douglas MacArthur spoke of this specific nature of the soldier's calling on May 12, 1962, when he addressed the cadets at the United States Military Academy at West Point, when he said, "The soldier, above all other men, is required to practice the greatest act of religious training, sacrifice. In battle and in the face of danger and death, he discloses those divine attributes which his Maker gave when he created man in his own image. No physical courage and no brute instinct can take the place of divine help, which alone can sustain him. However horrible the incidents of war may be, the soldier who is called upon to offer and to give his life for his country is the noblest development of mankind." On the afternoon of Saturday, the 19th of May, 6 American soldiers and 1 interpreter made the final sacrifice. Though they joined for different reasons and at different times, they all joined the Army. 6 as soldiers, 1 as a linguist. In the Army, they lived lives of service. In the Army, they served their countries and their fellow soldiers. They made sacrifices that ensured the safety of their friends and families. They made sacrifices to try to improve the lives of their fellow countrymen. They made sacrifices for those they knew and for those who were total strangers. They rolled out on mission because it was their obligation. They rolled out on mission because they were there for each other. This evening's reading from Scripture may have been surprising. What does the creation of man have to do with men dying in combat? The psalm read earlier is much more common at memorial ceremonies. But tonight, as General MacArthur so aptly recognized, it is because We are created in God's image. Now, many people read this passage and use its most simple interpretation, 2 eyes, a nose, the various physical attributes. They see our bodies as representing that of God's. But there's more to it. As the soldier in the chow line said to me, and as General MacArthur said to the West Point cadets, sacrifice is what makes people free. Soldiers, like few other in the world, sacrifice for others, their friends, their countries, and even total strangers. And in doing so, they demonstrate their godlike character. I'm not saying that these men were divine or even particularly religious men. I'm saying that regardless of how they lived or what they believed, they demonstrated in their sacrifice that they were made in the image of a loving God. In a few moments, we will each prepare to honor our fallen friends and comrades, and then we will go outside and face decisions as to how to face tomorrow. Decide how you will honor the memory of the fallen. Decide how you will bring comfort to one another. And then decide how you will live in order to demonstrate that you too are made in the image of a loving God. Amen.
Sergeant Anderson.
Here for some.
Sergeant Andrews.
Here for some.
Sergeant Benton.
Here for some.
Sergeant Moore. Staff Sergeant Christopher Moore. Staff Sergeant Christopher Lee Moore. Sergeant Medellin. Sergeant Gene Medellin. Sergeant Gene Paul Medellin. Specialist Burley. Specialist David Burley. Specialist David William Burley. Specialist Gilmore. Specialist Joseph Gilmore. Specialist Joseph Adam Gilmore. Specialist Heslip. Specialist Travis Heslip. Specialist Travis Frederick Heslip. PSC Varilla. PFC Alexandra Varilla. PFC Alexander Ray Varilla. Caesar. Caesar 2. Aziz Abal Zadad Aziz.